All right, people. So today we're going to be talking about the positive traits and advantages that comes along with uh, disability. Because if we all have an amazing ability, but and they're really not talked about. So today I'm going to be sharing that with you with a couple of um, disorders and what the positive advantages and traits are. All right, so first off, we're going to start with Tourette Syndrome and what the positive traits are. So at first, we have quick reflexes. So like I find that we all have tics, so they happen suddenly, and I find that most of us have quick reflexes. As you can see, Tim Howard, soccer player, he's like the best goalkeeper in the world and on the national team, and he really thrived in playing soccer and using his quick reflexes to build his career. Then next up we got quick thinking. um, so um, it gives us an ability to make quick decisions and come up with solutions quickly. Um, yeah. So then it also falls into quick decision making. So this is just like a conspiracy theory, but I'm pretty sure um, when we were cavemen, we had to like why would all of the disorders even be here in humans today? And just like since we are doing all these cool movements, we're like pretty like athletic and physically and mentally. So that falls into lots of energy, more than like the typical person as a neurotypical. And then we have a lot of times we see when people who have Tourette syndrome, natural musical talent, whether that be like making up rhythms or notes or um, singing, rapping, just like we have a lot of talent in that part. So those are some positive traits in Tourette syndrome. And we can go to the next slide. Okay, so now we have positive traits in ADHD. So an amazing trait we have is a hyperfocus ability, which makes us be able to um, focus on something for a tremendous amount of time. We often see people with ADHD being very distracted, not paying attention, and like all over the place. But when they're actually paying attention to something, preferably when it's their passion or focus, they can do that task for like hours, like 5 hours, 10 hours. Sometimes they even forget to like eat and stuff. So that's amazing. So like we often find people who have ADHD in like um, medical fields where great attention to detail is very important, and the ability to hyperfocus is very important. Then we also have lots of energy, like people who have Tourette syndrome. ADHD um, is com- composed of like hyperactivity and impulsivity. So we basically people with ADHD have a lot of energy, extra energy they can burn off, and they can do with it. So they can use that as their advantage again, more than the typical person. Um, People with ADHD are also very creative. You realize people their brains are very uh, they're always thinking of thoughts, and they're always thinking of what's going to come next, and like asking endless possibilities, endless questions, because from an impulsive standpoint, uh, that's where the creative comes from. So we use people with ADHD use that a lot. Then we got perseverance. I put this one down because as a person with ADHD, and I see a lot of people with ADHD, perseverance is one of the main things. When they're passionate about something, they can do that thing. They will like not stop. I am not kidding. Um, so they use that as they won't give up. They might a lot of the times they might start something but won't finish it. But when they're really in their mode of perseverance, they can literally fly into something magical. Next, we also have quick decision making and quick thinking, which does come from their quote unquote impulsive issues. But this right here is what we see in people with Tourette syndrome, and they're, like I said before, they're really good at making decisions quickly, and just coming up with lots of scenarios fast and answers to things fast. And yeah, and then the last one I put down, people with ADHD are very empathetic and sensitive. A lot of times, people always say, "Oh, you're too sensitive," or "Oh, you're not. Why aren't you? Why are you crying?" Like something like that. Well, of course, we also say people with ADHD have quote unquote emotional regulation issues, but that also gives them an amazing ability to be empathetic towards others and know how others are feeling, and it gives them amazing ability to really be sensitive around their environment, to be aware of their environment. Um, that's why they're that's what comes from their distraction issues. It's because your people with ADHD are very aware, and they just their brain is in tune with the environment, so that can really come in as an advantage if, like, maybe you're a cop, or maybe you're like trying to find somebody and you notice something. Like, yeah, amazing careers can come out of that. So yeah, next slide. All right, now we have positive traits in autism. Um, so the first one I want to start with is amazing attention to detail, like literally amazing. People with autism are they can really focus on what they want to do, and like engineers, writing, like literally anything, like it's amazing, like it's incredible. They also have an amazing hyper focus ability, as we've seen in people with ADHD. Um, so they can really focus on things for hours on end, like 10 hours, like it can be days. This is where it comes from, as their um, special interests. Um, but honestly, they have an like amazing ability, more than typical population, more than even people with ADHD. Like it's insane. Um, then we have unique thought processes, which makes great innovative solutions. So people with autism tend to think differently than people without. This is really uh, good and really helpful when coming to like figuring out different solutions to, maybe, since right now we're in a pandemic, maybe we could really use person with autism, to have like a unique thought process. Maybe we should try this drug, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try mixing them together, you know? People always, yeah, that's just, it's really cool. So they have a really good thought process. And then they also have an excellent memory and recollection. So they can really, when they learn something, or when they learn something that fascinates them, or just see, they will always, they just have an amazing ability to remember and um, notice and be like, yo, isn't this, and like connect ideas, if you will. Yeah, they're really at that. And then we also have expertise in different areas. As I talked before, it's like kind of falls into hyper focus ability with people. They say people with autism have special interests, and they do. So they can be really, um, really detailed, highly detailed in um, different areas and stuff. This can be really, really positive in work setting, and just like imaginative, like I'm thinking like science and things that we still need to discover as a human race. Like, yeah, we need more people like this. And then we also have great observational skills. People with autism are very highly in tune with their environment, and we always mistake this for, well, it can be a problem when they're too overloaded with sensory information, but it can be an awesome thing when they can be observational, and they can really, be in tune and stuff. So that's great. Yeah, next slide. All right, so next we have positive traits and anxiety. I have actually really wanted to put this on here, because anxiety is like, we all have anxiety, but some people struggle with anxiety tremendously. I know I had severe anxiety in freshman year. My twin struggles with anxiety. my mom. So like, and we often in the media we often talk about it negatively, and yes, it does negatively impact us. But there are some awesome things that go, positive things that come out of it. So one of them is detail oriented. So when you're anxious about something, you're really overthinking it. So you really want to not make sure you mess stuff up. So they're really detail oriented, and they always, yeah. And this falls in as they always have another plan or option in place if the other one fails. They're always thinking. They're not just thinking about plan A, but thinking about plan B and C, and like, what if something happens? Will I be prepared for it? So they're really good at that. Also, they're very high achieving. People with anxiety are tremendously high achieving because they set so many bars for themselves and like to get there, and they are just, after they've been really pushing through it, they can really get some stuff out of it, especially in careers and things like that. Then we have endless energy. Oh, appears outwardly calm and collected. I put this one on for from like a biological standpoint. Like most of the times, you can't see anxiety in the person, but people do appear calm. But I think I just had an idea that when in the early evolutionary things, this had a really good advantage on us because if we saw a bear and you were freaking out, or a cougar, they were most likely to chase you instead of you. Instead, if you're very outwardly and calm and you're having anxiety in your brain but you're not showing it, it can be really beneficial in the evolutionary standpoint. Um, they also have endless energy because, flight or flight response. So people with anxiety often have an extra rush of adrenaline when they're experiencing something that causes anxiety, a panic attack, an anxiety attack. But they can also use this endless energy into something that they really like to do. Maybe that's sports, maybe that's drawing, maybe it's like figuring out something in your life. Like, yeah, they're always gonna have that. They also have a really good, strong memory for things like I talked about before. They always have another plan. They know what's gonna happen most of the time. And when they know what's gonna happen, they're also really freaking reliable. I don't know about you guys, but my uncle has kind of anxiety slash and the mom, and they are freaking reliable. I can really rely on them, and they will not let you down. So those are some positive traits in anxiety. Next slide. All right. So now also depression. Depression is also talked about negatively in the social media world and just in general. So basically, I wanted to share some positive traits with you guys. So first of all, you might be thinking, what the heck? Extremely creative. People with depression are freaking extremely creative. I know that for a fact because one of my family members has had depression, and he was just really creative. He would always make these drawings and these songs, and so much came out of it. Like, it was beautiful, even throughout the sadness. Like, people with depression can do some amazing, beautiful things. Then we have great thinking abilities. So when they're in this, maybe a depressed episode or lying in bed, they're always thinking like of, well, they're for one, they're always thinking, like we're always thinking, but they tend to think things really deep, and they really know what they want to do, or they can figure out solutions to things. They just have an amazing ability to like really go deep and find themselves. Third one is they don't fear anything most times. So sometimes when they're at a really depressed state and things aren't really working out for them, or they've already thought about stuff, they're not really scared of anything. Um, they're less anxious in the world after experiencing really like severe states of depression. This might be true for some people, or it might not. It depends. That's why I said most times. Uh, now we have very talented in writing and music. Like I said, they're extremely creative, and when they really channel their energy and their emotions into something, beautiful stuff can happen. And yeah, a lot of amazing singers and rappers and songwriters do have depression, and they cope with their depression as a way as they cope using writing and music to help channel their um, sadness into something that comes out really beautiful to listen to. They're also very focused, like I said before. They channel their energy into stuff. They're also very strong physically and mentally. When you have depression, you experience so many symptoms, from like physical symptoms to mental symptoms. And after you come out of it, or if like maybe come out of your depressive episode, or if you're still in it, they're strong. They're so strong, amazing people. They've gone through so much, and it's incredible. Yeah, they're also detail oriented. Um, they really know um, themselves, and they really know they're really in tune with themselves and their emotions, and they know that a lot of the times they have to create a routine for themselves, as like hygiene and stuff, because sometimes it's really hard to like get out of bed in the morning or like brush your teeth. So they can become very detail oriented in that sense and become very organized. um, then we have keen observation skills. So they're really, really, really in tune with other people's emotions. Like maybe someone's feeling sad, or they don't look sad, but people with depression can sense that something's up and something's not right. And then I don't know what the last one says. I forgot. It's okay. So yeah, next slide. All right. So this might be the last one. I forgot. But positive traits in OCD. OCD can be incredibly debilitating. Uh, I've had very empathetic. Oh yeah, they're very people with depression are very empathetic because they've gone through so much, and they generally have really good advice for people who are going through the same things there, or maybe different things that um, they're experiencing. So, like I said before, OCD is a very can be a very debilitating condition. I know from a family standpoint, I live in a family, and two of my family members have OCD, and it can be hard. I'm still trying to figure it out to this day. So I thought positive traits. And a lot in Tourette syndrome, we have a comorbid. It's very high likely that that a person with Tourette syndrome also has OCD. So first off, people with OCD are very creative. They can figure out ways and different things that most people don't really um, do. Like when they're going through their compulsions and rituals, they're really good at being very detailed and stuff like that. Oh, great thinking capabilities. Yes, because people with OCD tend to have intrusive thoughts, and it's a loophole, so they're always experiencing thoughts. But the negative thoughts um, don't always have to be uh, negative. In a positive standpoint, they have some really good, great thinking, intricate patterns going on in their brain, and they can really use those skills um, in jobs and stuff such as problem solving, in math. Uh, they're just incredible at it. Oh yeah, amazing attention to detail. Like I said before, um, I don't know, one of my family members has an incredible, amazing sense to detail. Like it's actually insane. Like he knows where everything is in his house. He knows if something's off, because when something's off, they just know. People with OCD know when something feels off, and um, they have incredible ability to really go into detail with things and fix their environment up at how they like it to be. Um, second, I mean, fourth, or we have sympathetic. They really know. They're very sympathetic. they know they're really in tune again as oh yeah, they're very in tune with the environment itself. I'm kind of skipping, because they just know. They're just like I don't know. They just have a really amazing ability to know, to read emotions, to feel the emotions, and yeah, of others. Incredible organizational skills. This is comes from their rituals. They tend to make. They want to have a safe place, so they're always. They know, like, well, for example, I'll be walking into my living room, and one of my family members who has OCD, his desk is incredibly organized. The kitchen is always incredibly organized. Like it just seems like a very nice place to live in. Like my room is so messy. Like I definitely do not have organizational skills, so that definitely comes in handy. Also comes in handy with different careers again, uh, like science and math. A lot of problem solving skills. Uh, then we have hardworking all the way until things are finished. I know this for a fact because people with OCD tend to not give up. Like they want to go through things until it is done. Like it's like people with ADHD, perseverance. Um, they will not give up. They are incredible at that. And then also compulsions and rituals can become incredibly useful. So I know for a fact that my uncle he has a very so the pandemic's going on, right? We have a lot of extra cleaning supplies, and he one of his rituals is to clean the doorknobs and the countertops. So I feel like my family is actually at a better standpoint than most families because we're way cleaner. So yeah, that is OCD for you. So basically, we always tend to look at the negatives, and it's good to see the positives as well. Don't forget, your disability is also an amazing ability to shine, to thrive, to think differently, and yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions for me, I can answer them. If you can unmute if you want to.